And good afternoon, everybody. Before we get started, I'll open up with some music for you, and then we'll get into some learning you. Okay, I'll just keep it on this style while I'm at it. Yes, thank you very much. Hold the applause, hold the applause. Okay. All right. This little string coming off my sleeve is driving me nuts. If I keep pulling it, it's going to get worse. I need a lighter. I'm just going to try to ignore it. Anyway, so by the way, before I get started today, that was obviously Mac the Knife. Most of you probably recognize that. I used the style called McSwing. And I just used normal rhythm preset 0 or vintage style setup. And I played it one time through. And then the second time through I played it, I didn't do anything different. The background does all of the fills that go to that song. And then when I did the third time through, I just reached up and touched drum variation. And then the fourth time through, I transposed up a half a step. And then I put on alter style with drum variation off. And then the last time through, I transposed up a half a step again. And then I turned the drum variation back on. And the setups I used were 0, and then I finished ultimately with number 3. Okay, so just a quick setup on that. It's a fun style. Last week we talked a little bit about shortcuts and feature shortcuts. Before I get into today's topic, does anybody have any questions about the shortcuts? Did you all get the handout? I put it up on our Patreon site, and I actually did that. I can't remember under which membership group, but I made it so it was available to all the members. So if you need a copy of that, it's a great place to get it. Any questions about last week? No? Boy, you guys are becoming Lowrey touchscreen experts.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. No.
Pretty soon you'll know everything there is to know about this marvelous instrument that you own. What I want to do today is I was really looking back at what I've done in the last 2 months, and I was like, did I do this? Did not? I know I did it once upon a time. You know, we were talking about the USB and saving presets and what have you, but I don't think that I actually did recording a song onto a USB. Now, I know I've done it before, So it'll be a good recap. If you haven't seen it, then it'll be brand new and fresh. So what I'm going to do is, now what I can't do today is, there's ultimately 2 steps when recording. You can put it onto your USB or floppy disk if you have the floppy disks. And then the second step is you could take it a step further and put it onto a CD, or you transform it into an MP format. Usually I can do that with a CD, an organ that has a CD, and I can kind of talk about the steps on the EX. But I went digging today, and lo and behold, I don't have any blank CDs to work with. So we'll do the part 1 today. And then I have something else planned. But the first step is, now, if you have a CD or an MP capability, you can actually record directly to the CD, and you can actually record directly to the MP. However, I would probably suggest that if you're a little newer at it, maybe record in the Lowrey format first before you transfer that information. At one time I did it where I recorded onto a CD. I was at a concert, and I was playing for an organ group up in Sun City West, and it was back in 2012 or 13 or something like that. And I said to myself, I never really put a CD together. So what I did is I put the CD in, and every song I played, I recorded it. So mistakes and all, you can't go back and change and edit those on a CD. So we'll go through a little bit of the steps of recording yourself. Why would you want to record yourself? Anybody know? Anybody got any good guesses?
Improve yourself.
Improve yourself, or you want to just show off. It's okay to show off. There's also some cool little tricks you can do with recording, but we're going to go over the basic today, because you can actually record a left hand and go back and do the right hand if you want. Sometimes you have a song that's a little tricky, but you can play the melody if the chords are being played. Well, there's some workarounds with that. You can do that. So, but here's my thoughts on this. Show of hands, for those of you who have videos, show of hands, when you sit down and play the organ, do you need or have to, or for the most part, use music? Okay, a lot of people. And then there's occasionally some that they don't. They sort of play it, they figure it out, plunk away. So when you're using music, you're sitting down at the organ, you got your music up here, and your eyes are on the music and not as much on the keyboards, ideally, right? You're focusing on the music, playing the notes right, and in some cases you're kind of concentrating. You're paying attention to what notes you're supposed to be playing. And while you're doing that, you can kind of have an idea of what's going on and how you're playing and so forth. But my theory is that you never 100% know how you're playing, because there's a little bit of a concentration. It's kind of like that you can only think of one thing at once, So I always say it's good. Pick a song that you're working on or play, or something you're comfortable with. Get your arrangements, your setups, however. Warm up a few times first. I always encourage that. And then go back and record yourself. And when you're done, listen. Because when you're sitting back listening to what you've done, then you have now you're paying attention to 100% to what you're doing. And you'd be surprised that sometimes where you think you might have made a mistake, wherever that place was in the music, you might actually like what you did. And then there might be a place you didn't think you made a mistake, and you hear something, you go, oh, what did I do there? As an example, by day, I say I'm a keyboard player by day and a guitar player by night. All that means is I get to play my guitar at night when I'm at home, when I'm not here. And I have a little setup where I do some recordings and some songs that I've written over the years. I wanted to, as a hobby, I kind of go back and I'm recording all these songs. Sometimes I make the mistake that I'm telling you. I'll go and I'll just get it all set up and I'll start playing, and partway through it's not working right, and then I don't do the warm up. So, but here's what I will tell you. When I sit down and do that, even when I'm playing the organ, if I warm up, sometimes I'll record it anyway. Because there's nothing worse. This has happened many times to me. There's another. I'll do a warm up, and I get through it, and I'm going, man, that was really good. I wish I would have recorded myself. So just keep that in mind. You could, if you're going to warm up, can't hurt to record yourself. And if you don't think you did it, you can do well, you could do it again. So let's talk about recording first into the Lowrey format. And the question that I sometimes get from some who don't know this, if you record it in a Lowrey format, it cannot be played on a stereo or computer. Can't be played in a car. It can only be played on the Lowrey organ that you recorded. Okay? So for example, today I'm using the beautiful Lowrey Symphony. I'm going to go through the steps of recording in the Lowrey format on this model. If I take that USB and I put it into an EX model, a Marquee, Aria, Grand Marquee, Rialto Inspire, it will not recognize it. There is a way to convert that, and I do have that program, so that it'll be converted to that platform, okay? But it won't work on anything except for the Lowrey organ, all right? And the same thing goes with the EX. If you have an SU series model and you record it on a floppy and you go on the computer and you copy and paste that onto a USB stick and you put it in an A model, it won't read it because it's in an SU format. Now, it can be converted to be read, so just some FYIs for you, okay? So the first thing is, have yourself a USB stick, and I'm going to tell you that the most popular one that seems to be the least amount of trouble are SAN disks. That's SANDISK. I'm going to say that a lot in the upcoming weeks when I talk about USB. Maybe they'll give me some kickback or something. I should ask. I will ask.
You don't ask, you don't get.
I will ask. So what I've discovered is there are some USBs that will work. For example, I bought some on Amazon, and I forget the name of this brand, but I've gotten them. I've gotten quite a few of them. You may have some of these actually. And once I download the information from the computer and copy it onto the USB, it'll work. It'll play back. It'll allow you to load presets. But what I found is what those USBs won't do is it won't allow you to save and record and do stuff on those USBs. So USBs can be finicky depending on the Lowrey model. On the EX models, they seem to be a little more user-friendly to most of the USBs. But so far, and I asked Bill Curry this, and he said the same thing, SAN disks, okay? So the other question that I get, and I've referred to this in saving presets, do you have to format the USB on the Lowrey organ?
No.
I guess it can't hurt, but if you have a blank USB and you put it in the organ, the minute you save presets or resave a recording onto it, it automatically puts a Lowrey folder. It automatically formats it for you, okay? So what you don't want to do is if you have something that has a couple files on here, don't format it. And I've had people say, you know, I started to do it by accident and it got to 10% and I stopped it and everything was wiped out. That's all it takes. Okay? So formatting just basically wipes it clean, and, you know, so just keep that in mind. All right? If you're new to using presets or recording, I'll echo my thoughts on this, what I said in the past. It's always good to just get a USB and say, this is going to be my training USB. Meaning whatever you do, don't get caught up on how great the stuff is that you put on there. You want to get great at using and saving and, and deleting and all that stuff. Just have one separate USB that you use for experimenting and saving and renaming and all that, okay? So it's pretty simple
Robert,
yes.
it's also best not to use USBs that slide in and out like the one you're doing there. Those can break easily internally.
Well, they're a little bit of a pain in the butt, I will tell you. These I got, I didn't buy these. They
I've had them break.
Yeah, they came in with an organ. So there's some sand discs that you can get like this. Well, let me see if I can get closer. See, like this kind of slides in. It's kind of cool and convenient looking, but you're right. So you want to make sure
problems.
It can be a pain in the butt. Sometimes I do this and I push it in and it doesn't go all the way in and I got to hold it. So try to find a sand disc that it's a little more user friendly. I know some of their brands actually have, they're mostly sliders. They have two different versions of the ones that slide. This one is a little bit more, this one is I don't know. It's okay, I'm careful with it, but if you do end up with something like that, you just got to be very careful. They're delicate, okay? So, anyway, so first thing is you get your USB. You insert the USB into the organ. All right, make sure it's all the way in secure. And the second thing is make sure that you have the organ set up how you want first, okay? So I'll just pick a rhythm here and I'll set it up. Let's see, let me see, what am I in the mood for? I guess it doesn't matter. I'm not going to play the whole song anyway. Let's see. I don't want to pick a style that I'm in the mood for. What am I in the mood for? Okay. I'll go back to this one here. All right. So I'll just put on, where did it go? I lost it. Okay. Organ blues. Doesn't matter. So you have your organ set up. You know what presets you're going to use. Just kind of keep that in mind. If you're using presets you load first, load them in first. Get it all set up, ready to go. Now, if you're putting in a USB stick for the very first time, and what I mean by that is if there's not a USB stick inserted in the organ, and then you put it in, if I were to come over to the side here and push record. Okay, let me switch cameras here. Let me see what happens. Please wait, accessing USB. So do you see what number it jumped to? 29. That means there's 28 songs on this particular USB. Mm-hmm. So when you're doing it from scratch like that, it'll automatically jump to the next available spot. However, if you have a recording, maybe this USB is not good. Well, I might have to retract that statement. So I know why. I think there's other stuff on here that should not belong. Well, there we go, all. I have to act like a reporter, retract that statement. All right. Okay, let's see. Let me do it again. All right, now you probably hear some noise going on in the background. That's what should happen. Okay, so I took out the USB stick, And I put in a different one in the same thing. Now, let me press stop, and I'm going to leave it there. Let's say I've recorded a song, and I'm done with it, and we'll pretend that I recorded the song. Now, I'm going to go back and record the song in a minute, but now if I clear the screen, the USB is still in the organ. What you don't want to do is push record again, because if you do, it wants to go back to the last song that was there. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to erase that by accident, okay? So I always encourage that even if you're putting in the USB new for the first time, I encourage, I'm going to take you on a little ride here. Hope you don't get motion sickness. I didn't have my disclaimer in the beginning, okay? So what I'm going to encourage you to do, I'm going to take the USB out. Actually, let me just set it on the chair here. All right. So I put the USB back in. All right. Rather than push and record, I always just say, just go ahead and hit one of your arrows. Okay. And when you do that, okay. I know this is not ideal at the moment. It automatically pulls up the very first song, or if there is a song on the USB. Okay. Now let me switch cameras so I can. Get the wrong camera. Hold on. Oh, shoot. Turned off my audio. Wrong option. I've got new glasses coming soon. Can't read this tiny little thing. Okay, there we go. All right. So you'll see in my USB here, this is by just pressing the arrow, if there's some songs recorded on it, there's one, the first one shows up. So just go to, you can use the page button, all right? Or you can use the arrows on the left there. So it just depends on how you want to get there, whatever's faster, okay? So if you use the rewind fast forward arrow that's over here, it'll do one at a time. If you use the page scroll page here, it'll go through each page. So it'll go a little faster, and I'll show you both now for those of you who are not used to doing this. Okay, so I'm using the fast forward or rewind arrow on the right side of the organ where the music recorder is. Okay, see they're going through a song at a time. Now I can keep doing that until I get there, but if I have a lot of songs on a USB, you know, I can use the scroll next to the window, and you could see they kind of go a little faster. And then basically what you want to look for is a blank spot on the USB. So right now it says 29 is blank. All right. Once you're on a blank spot on your music recorder, which is located on the right side of the organ, which is where I showed you, on the EXs, it's on the lower right side next to the lower keyboard. Okay. Now, I'm going to push record. You can't see me doing it, but I'm doing it just so you could see what happens on the screen there.
And highlight it.
It's highlighted. You can select the one you want. Now I'm going to press stop. You can go if you want to put it in a different number. See that? If I'm using the rewind and fast forward arrow in the recorder, music recorder section. In this case, I'm going to put it on number 29. Okay? Now I'm going to push record, and I'm going to let this thing annoy you for a few seconds. Okay, you hear the little clicking noise? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, you hear it clicking? So whatever I have set up, it's kind of like a metronome. That noise will go away once you start playing. Okay? Now, at this point, if you remember the days of cassettes were very popular, even on the CD as well. But if you remember on the cassette, if you pushed record, what was happening?
Tape was going.
It's filling up, it's recording.
Mm-hmm.
When you're recording in the Lowrey format and you press record and you hear that, it's not recording anything. It's just waiting for you. And it starts recording the minute you press a note or a button on the organ. Okay? Most people understand that if you play a note, then yeah, it's going to record. But if I push record and I come over and I adjust my tempo, I realize, oh, I'm at 100. I'm going to put it at 105 real quick. The minute I start pressing that button, now that time is being recorded. Okay, so remember that. When you press record, it's not doing anything. It's not recording anything. And you hear that clicking noise. It's not recording anything until you press a note or you press a button. It doesn't matter if you reach the dynamic keying or you push a harmony or you push a feature button or you push anything. The minute you do that, now that time is going by like a cassette recorder used to do. So if you do that, you forget, you did it and you wait 5 seconds and you go, okay, now I'm going to play the song. When you go back to play that,
You're going to have that blank spot.
you're going to have a blank spot there. You're going to be, did I record something? I know I did. And then all of a sudden it comes back in. Okay. Now, future reference, if I remember to bring some blank CDs. I have some blank ones at home. When you're transferring the information from the USB to a CD or into an MP format, that rule will apply automatically. But we'll get to that next week. How's that? Okay. So let me go back to recording. Now, as I press record, you hear it click, 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 click. I haven't touched anything. Remember, anything, even if a touch bar or a foot pedal. So just make sure that you're ready to go. And then the minute you start, it starts recording. Now, here's the other thing. If I push a button, I'm not playing, you're going to still hear the clicking noise, but it's recording because the minute your rhythm starts going, then that metronome sound will go away. All right, here we go. We'll go way back in time here.
Can't hear the organ, Robert.
You can't hear the organ?
Nope.
Nope.
It's because when I disconnected my audio, instead of changing the video, it turned that off. So there we go. I pressed stop. Now that song is in there. Or guess what? That was rehearsal. So let me put the arrow back up. I'm gonna go to
Number 30.
I'm gonna go to number 30 now. Okay.
You're not going to eliminate the one that you.
Okay. The question I had behind me here was a good question. And you're not going to eliminate 29. Well, I can. I will. But right now, I don't want. It takes a few steps. So you can always go back and delete it. But right now, I want to get through this. So yeah, sometimes I will do that right away. Sometimes I'll just record, and when I got a one that's really good, then I'll just go back. Or if I want to record in that slot. So here's an example. We'll pretend that because my USB that I have right now, this has all of my Song of the Months on them. So I have 1 through 28. So if I was doing a new song for the Song of the Month and I wanted number 29, I might go back and delete it. Okay? And that's a whole different function. So, but right now, I think what I'm going to do is, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. I'm going to go to number 30, and I'm going to push record again. Okay, here we go. Oh, I hit the intro button. Now it's recording. Take 2. Now you know what song I'm going to play. Nope. Now, when it's done and it stops completely and you're done, you're going to hear the clicking. I would encourage you to press the stop button as soon as you know it's done. Okay, that might be waiting for the ending. It might be whatever it is that you want it to be done. Okay, because sometimes I'll let it finish and then I'll do something else. Okay, because if you don't, remember all that time that's going by, it's recording that space as well. So in the beginning of this recording, I had everything set up, but I forgot to put my intro. So the minute I push the intro, there might be an extra second or two in there. Now, let's see. When you are done recording, you'll notice that the buttons in this case all light up solid. Okay? I'm not quite sure what it does on the X on the bottom right here. I think it might light up solid as well, the buttons. And that just basically says there's a song there. Okay? Now, let's go up to this camera there. Now I'm going to press play. And as soon as I do that, it probably is going to be a second or two behind. Play. So did you see there was like, what, 2 or 3 seconds in there? Let me push play again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because what happened was when I recorded it, I forgot to push the intro button, and I pushed the intro button, and it started recording that space. You can just press play. Now, if you want to see what's there, hit your fast forward or rewind arrow on that music recorder just once. And then you can kind of, so it's right now, it's song 30. Right? So now the song's recorded on there. And now I have some decisions to make. I don't need 29 because I goofed that up. And 30, I want to save that. So here's what we do. On the organ, let's see if I can get the correct screen on here. Okay. So if you want to delete, rename, whatever it is you want to do, on your screen, you touch USB. If you have the floppy disk, if you have an SU series model, it's going to say, I think, disk. Okay? So I touch USB. And right now I want to delete the song. Oops, let me put that screen up. So after I touch USB, that screen will show up. And as you can see, there's an option that says delete song. So let me do that first. You just touch it. And then you scroll through the songs, and you get to the one you want to delete.
29.
In this case, 29 is the one. And just make sure you got it before you go any further. It's saying, are you sure? You make sure you don't delete the wrong one. And there we go. Okay? Now, when you record, obviously what it does is it defaults to it automatically puts a title in there, and it's just a generic title in case you don't have time to do it right then and there. You know, so you have song 03. In this case, it just put song 030. If I want to rename that, you push the USB button. Can you see that okay? You push the USB button, and then when you do that, you have your options there.
Rename song.
Rename song. And then when you touch it, I always encourage, just make sure you're in the right screen. You see where it says rename song in the top left?
Mm-hmm.
And I only say that because, you know, our fingers are what they are. Sometimes we miss it, or they're electronics. The screen is touch sensitive. Some people use an eraser on a pencil. Just make sure you selected the right one so you don't accidentally delete a song. And then you scroll to the one you want. Song 30. All right. Now, everybody but Aria. At this point, you have the option of renaming it, and you simply just use what's on the screen there. So I played, what did I play? Sentimental Journey and Mr. Don't Get Around Much Anymore. That's a lot of letters for that, so you have to abbreviate. I might just put don't and Saturday, whatever, but just for the sake of the class. So here's a little trick here. So the first letter I want is a D. Now you see where it says space, by the way? For those of you who are doing this for the first time, don't confuse this space with like a typewriter.
No, it doesn't work.
It does not. Typewriter, you hit space and advances, puts a space and advances over. This does exactly what it says. It creates a space in that bar. Sometimes when I'm on the letter S and I want to get to the letter D, I'll hit the space bar and then I'll scroll up A, B, C, D because it puts me there closer. Why do I do that? I just am impatient. You don't have to. Then you use the arrow over. You're going to see that touch the arrow, it changed. Now if I go to lowercase, don't. I'll just put D-O. Keep on lowercase. And then here I can go up or backwards. I could use the apostrophe, I guess, if I want to be grammatically correct. I hit the number symbols, and then you scroll. Oh, did I pass it? There it is. And then you arrow over. Whoops. Yeah, arrow over. And then you, oops, I'm on the number symbol. T, and then a space, and an arrow over, and a space, and an arrow and a space. Now, for you Aria owners, you obviously have the, you have what's called the QWERTY keyboard. And for those of you who aren't familiar with that, if you put your hands on a typewriter, the top row, starting with the Q, is QWERTY, if I spelled that right. And that's why it's often referred to as a QWERTY keyboard. Okay?
Robert,
Anyway, question? Or did
I have something
Yes.
something I've learned to do. I put the number of the book this song is in, because I can never remember what book I got a song out of.
Oh, that's a great idea.
It is.
Yeah, very clever. Now, next time I do a class and you're not on, I'm going to suggest that and take credit for it. Yeah, that's a great idea. Actually, you know, Bill Curry, for those of you who have, I think it's the Grand Marquee Extreme or maybe the 22,
Number 4.
maybe the Star Enhancement. When he added new song setups, he actually did that. He put
Yes, he did.
He put I can't remember all the organs he did it with, but I know he did some of those models. He put the number in there so people would know what Hal Leonard book. But that's a great idea.
Robert,
Yes?
what I don't understand is there's rarely enough letters for the song title. So where in the world would you put the book number?
Well, you have to learn to abbreviate.
I know, I'm getting good at
Let's
that.
say I want to
You
do
gotta be
this.
creative.
Yeah, let's say this song
Creative.
here. Let's say this song here is "Don't Get Around Much Anymore" and "Sentimental Journey," and it's in book number 400. Here's what I would do, and you know I can count here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I might put the number at the end here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Numbers
that's
at the end.
let me start there. And I went the wrong direction.
Gee, I wish I known that a long
Okay.
time ago.
Or
BK 40, so you know.
let's see. Basically, here's the thing. And let me tell you why you might remember what you put here. You know, it's because whatever you create, you've created it for yourself. So a lot of times you'll create something. So this one here, maybe don't. You know, I can actually do don't. It doesn't have to be grammatically correct. This is just for you. Don't get, and then
RD.
maybe here I'll do
S-E-N-T.
S
E-N-T.
E N N T.
Don't get what?
Okay. So don't get sent 400. So if I'm doing that, I'm doing it for myself. Now, if I sent these presets to somebody, someone may go, don't get, you may or may not know. Sometimes they're easy to figure out. And so, yeah, you do have to get creative in your own way that's going to help you. Now, the two songs that I just told you were relatively long titles between the two. Sometimes it may be just one song. I just happen to do two. A lot of times we do presets for a song. So one song title, usually you can get away with a word or two. And if this was just Sentimental Journey, I might be able to type the word sentimental, Jour, and then a book number, But when you're getting into medleys, it gets a little tricky. It could be a swing medley or something like that. And now here's the other thing. Let me save my work.
How many letters can you put
1,
in
2,
one
3.
line?
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I counted real quickly. Looks like about 13 characters, okay? Maybe 14. I did it real quick.
Not go to the fall, it doesn't add.
That's a great idea.
No, it doesn't. Just that's what you got.
You got 13 and that's
Whatever how many spaces you got, there's what you have to work with, okay?
13 is an awful number.
Is it the awful number? Maybe it's 14. We'll pretend it was 14. How's that? She doesn't like lucky number 13 back here. In some countries, 13 is lucky. It's like they say about the black cat going underneath the ladder. Some countries actually, a black cat is lucky. Let me just see here. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15!
Oh, good.
Whew!
No 13.
You don't have to feel unlucky anymore, Cecilia. I got a student here. She's doesn't like 13. Okay, so that song is now on your USB. You want to pull it back up, like I just did. Oops, hit the arrow, music recorder. All right, and you have the song. Now, by the way, so there's the song. Now, by the way, if you use your own presets, if you're using custom presets, that is, maybe you've created some presets for yourself to play a song. Sometimes, as many of you know, when I do the song a month, it's one song, one group of presets for one song. Sometimes when I play, I have a little medley of songs that I do, You can do the same process on your presets. So for example, let's say I created my own presets and I wanted to play Don't Get Around Much Anymore, Sentimental Journey, Moon Glow, and I'm doing a whole swing medley of songs. Well, when I program my presets, okay, I have them saved, you can go back and rename each preset. So that, because if I just gave you 4 song titles, now try saving that on a recording. You have 15 characters. There's not enough. Even you get creative, it's going to be kind of tough. It might be a swing medley. So if I had some presets that I saved that I used to do this medley, what I would do is this.
Swing medley?
Well, I would do swing medley in the recording or the group of presets on the USB, but my individual presets would be something a little different. So let's just, for the sake of it, now right now these are what? Lowrey presets in here. Where there's something in here already. Let me just see. Looks like some setups I had for Besima Mucho, I think. Oops, wrong button. Don't do that. So you can see I labeled these like that. Okay, but let's just say, let me go to this bank here, okay, because this is the factor. But let's pretend, we have to pretend for a minute. Let's pretend number 1 is for a preset for Don't Get Around Much Anymore. And let's say number 2 is for Sentimental Journey. Number 3 is for Moon Glow. Just use those 3. What you could do is you can rename these presets. And you do that by going to the USB option on the screen. Okay, USB. And when you press that USB, I'm sorry, no. Sorry, back up. Scratch that last part.
Got to go to rename banks.
Yes, you got to rename banks. So pretend I never said that last thing, okay? All right. So you're going to press the feature button, feature clear to the right of the organ, and when you do that, your features come up, you scroll to page 6. See where it says rename bank presets? You select that, and then you'll see it just happens to be on B6 right now, okay? So what I would do, let's say I want to rename B1, and I want to name it, maybe these presets are for the song Don't Get Around Much Anymore, okay? So I can just do the same process. And you do the same thing. Okay, you rename it, and you do this, and you da-da-da, and you go in, and you go through, and maybe your B1 preset or whatever is for a certain song. Now, I'm not going to do each one, but then if you go to number 2, you can go in and rename that however you want, okay? And so forth, and then you go to 3, but here's the thing. When you are renaming presets on the organ, okay? So that, I'm going to clear the screen. That's how it's going to show up. Now watch, when I push the number 4 on the B bank, you see right there? That's what I started to rename. I didn't finish that out, but you can tell I changed it, okay? That's on the organ. Yes.
There's a shortcut. If you press the forward button right there, you'll get to the rename bank preset immediately.
The forward button?
Yeah, like you've got number preset 2 selected.
Well, there you go.
Hit forward and it brings you right there.
There you go.
I don't understand.
Now next, I'll show you in a minute. Now next week, Gary, don't come on. I'm going to show everybody that and take credit for it. All right, let me switch cameras here. Okay. So, oh wait. Actually, that screen was the better camera. Let me go back to this. Okay. So let me pull up. All right. So here's the feature that everybody uses, right? If you're not using this, you need to use it. It's just the preset information, you know. So I'm on preset number 3 now. Let's say I want to rename that preset. Let's say I'm doing Moonlight Serenade, whatever, okay? And I want to rename that preset. At the bottom right corner there, you see at the bottom right, I'm going to hit number 10. You see right below number 10 there?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So you have to be on the number that you want. If you push that little forward button, you see it from there, Cecilia? When you touch that,
It's
it
right
brings you automatically to rename that preset. So then you rename it, whatever you want to rename it. Oh. And whatever you want to name it. I'll just leave it as moose. I just made up a new word. I like that word. Okay. Now, if you push the back arrow, it brings you right back to the screen, and you'll see that it's changed to.
It's been changed.
It changed to moose, although it looks like an H, so it's coos. Anyway, so you can do that. Now, here's the thing that I got to caution you on. If you get in the habit of renaming the presets that you've actually saved, that's only on the organ. Okay? So that's saved on the organ. You got to take it a step further and save it onto your USB. And once it's saved onto your USB, you can always bring it back and you can rename it and change it and bring it back and so forth. But then you have it there. But if I don't, and it's on this organ, the minute I push reset, do a total reset on here, or I load other presets, then it goes away.
When you turn the organ off, does it go?
If the question I had is if you turn the organ off, the preset should not go away. If you push the reset or home button over to the left, the presets should not go away. The only way that the presets go away is if you do one of two things. A total reset, or you do a reset in the screen to where it says, it'll actually say reset presets. Okay? So if you go to reset and if you do total reset, it'll definitely reset it. If you do a reset presets, it only resets the presets or setups on the EX models.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Some great questions here. Some great helpers here too.
Yeah.
Now, I encourage, get a USB, find one that works. Sometimes it's difficult, I know. Get a USB. Yes.
I have one question. All the presets I have done, can I go back on the different sticks and with the book number?
You can. When you say presets, the presets you saved for
Yeah,
yourself?
I say a lot of them.
Yeah.
So,
Yes,
okay,
you can.
that'll be when I'm.
What you would have to do is load your presets in,
Right, right.
pull up the screen, and then go to that preset, and then you can name it or you can retitle however you want. But once you do all that, that's on the organ.
Right.
Then you have to save it back onto the USB.
Yes.
Okay? So for
Yes.
example,
Well, that's a long job.
well, it can be, but it's not something that sometimes you do in one sitting. Sometimes you may do it, you can always go back. For example, my USB is in here, or no, it's not. I took it out.
Thanks.
Let me put this one back in. I think it'll allow me to save presets. I'm going to load my presets. Or wait, that other USB did have it. I must have backups. Let me start over. Clear that screen. USB, load presets. Okay, let's say I want to, it's taken a while because I got a lot on this USB. All right, let's just say I want to load the first one in. Okay, I load my presets. And then I go and I look in the screen here. Okay, and you can see this is how I named all my presets. It was to remind me what setups I have. But if I want to, if it was a particular songbook that I was using, you know, I may not change these individual ones. What I might do is at the top, 0 there, I might title that Besame Book 300.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but once you do that, these changes aren't saved on your USB. You have to go back. Let's pretend I did it. You press USB, you have to save presets,
Yes.
and then you want to save basically what you just did back onto it, and it's going to ask you want to overwrite. If you're intentionally doing that, then yes, you're okay. And then you go through the whole steps. Okay? Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. I thought one topic was only going to go 20 minutes, but I went a lot longer.
It never does.
I have no idea how that happened.
The USB you're recording
Yeah, I
on,
wish I'd known that a long time ago.
recorded can only be played on that organ.
Basically, yes. I'm going to the recording that we did on the
If you go out
USB.
and play somewhere else, you don't have your songs anymore.
If you go out and play somewhere, right, it will not. It will only work on that organ. Now, if you convert it to a CD or an MP, you can go and play those. But anyway, let me.
Listen to in the radio to put
If you want to listen to a radio, you have to convert it to a CD or an MP, depending on the model you have. That,
Robert?
that's
Robert?
not today's class. Yes.
okay.
Yes. Someone said my name.
Thought so.
I don't know who said
Thought
something.
it was Janice.
Can you hear me?
Now I can. Is that Carol Carlin?
Yeah.
Oh, she disappeared. You
Muted
turned on
herself
You
again.
got to unmute yourself, Carol. Once you mute yourself, just leave it unmuted.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yep. Don't do anything else. Just talk.
Okay. I don't see the purpose of doing this when you can't put it on another USB to send to somebody. Why would I want to just
You
take
can.
myself?
You can, but that's not today's class. So
Will you help me do that?
Yeah, so I'm going to do another class next week on that. So basically, what I said earlier is that you can record 2 ways or both, one or the other or both. One is you record it on the Lowrey format and only can be heard on the Lowrey that you recorded on. The other is you can record it into what's called an MP format, what's like a CD. And that can be listened to anywhere, okay, in a car. Last year we did the holiday music camp. I took all of the Lowrey recordings and converted them to an MP so that if someone didn't have a USB, they could have played it in their car, okay? However, what I sometimes will do when I record songs, I record them in the Lowrey format first, which is like what I did today, okay? Then what I'll do is I'll go back and transfer that song into another format that anybody can listen to. You can transform it into what's called the MP, or for those of you who have a CD. And I thought I was going to have enough time to do both today, and I didn't bring a CD, so I didn't, so I thought, well, it's going to be a short class. So that I'm glad I didn't, because we wouldn't have had time anyway. So next week, I'm going to go over the steps of, now that we have a song recorded, how do you transfer it to a CD or an MP format for those of you who have the EXs and what have you, okay?
Okay.
All right. So if I were you, Carol, you better come in store next week.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to finish off today with a song. I was trying to think of I just grabbed the book here. Let's see here. I don't know how this will go, but we'll see. I guess I'll keep pushing my Song of the Month software in case you haven't gotten it yet.
Is this the end of the 1 o'clock classes? On your calendar, there's no 1 o'clock classes.
Yeah, but basically I do it every Wednesday right now. So if you see that this is happening, anything that I do, Carol, if I do it online and it's more, I'm doing it from here, so you can always pop into the store and join us. Okay?
I don't understand.
What I'm saying is if anything you see that I'm teaching online, whether it's this class or anything else, I'm always doing it here in the store. So if you just want to come into the store and participate in person, even if it's not on the calendar. Okay?
Okay.
All right? All right, I'm going to try to play. It's been a while since I played this song. The anniversary song.
Hey,
Not anniversary waltz. People think it's the anniversary waltz. It's not. They're two totally different songs. Anniversary waltz is, I don't even know if I can play it right. Let me just see here.
Minor key.
Anniversary song is in a minor key, also known as, I think, Danube Waves. Waves of the Danube. Let's see. So here is the anniversary song is normally, let me see if I can play the melody. I don't know. Da, 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 da. It's a whole different song. Anyway, I'm not going to embarrass myself. I'm being recorded. But I can play this one, I think. I have my presets. And someone told me if I use Robert's presets, I'll sound just like he does. By the way, if you want to know where these presets are, they're kind of hidden right now. I'm working on getting the website people to redesign their, because I have several other software packages that we're going to be offering. Bear with me for a minute. Some of you already have them. Some of you may not. Let me just see. If you go to FletcherMusic.com, oops, Fletcher. All right, where am I? There we go. If you go to FletcherMusic.com, share, okay, it's kind of tucked away right now because, you know, our main priority is obviously organs. So let's see, go to products. If you go down to this thing, products and software, you'll see I have my Song of the Month software suite, and you can buy one or both. It has all the songs that are recorded, all the presets and the music, and you can purchase it right there, and it gives you a little description of what's happening. And so it has all broken into 2 USBs, or if you buy both, it'll actually be on 1 USB. You get the 24 recordings, the presets for all the songs, bonus arrangements that weren't taught in the classes. So a lot of good stuff there. I'm featuring anniversary song today, and I'm going to do it the simple way because I actually have some presets. And when I play this, sometimes I actually use the chords and the pedals, but I'm going to just do it the simple way today so I don't embarrass myself. Okay, let's see. Preset 1, I think, was a fancy introduction. Ooh, I forgot. That's pretty nice. That preset's not on the songbook, by the way. If you have this book, A1 is like, you can use it as an introduction, and there's a few in between that are designed that way. But if you play it in the way the order presets are, should work like this. Okay. A2, here we go. pretty. Is that from The Godfather? It sounds like it should be. I don't think it is, though.
They have something like
It's very similar. It's a very similar melody, isn't it?
It's an
But
old song.
no, it's not from The Godfather. If it
It's
is,
older.
That was
older
around
than-
when I was 5 years old.
wow, that was
And
only
I'm
like 30,
86.
20, 30 years ago?
Oh, I'm 86, so
Oh,
figure it out.
So that song came out about 80 years ago?
Oh, more than that.
More than that, yeah. It's called Anniversary Song. It might also be referred to as the Waves of the Danube or Danube Waves. But it does have a very similar melody. Anyway, last thing I want to share with you is it's probably the most important thing. Go out and buy a Lowrey organ.
Okay, I want one for my bathroom.
You should get one for your bathroom. You know, I actually had a student that had a Marquee in her house, single wide mobile home. And I don't know why. I wasn't the manager here at the time, but I came to visit the store, and the manager said, "Yeah, I just sold so and so it was a Easy 2." And I said, "Easy 2? She has a Marquee." Yep, she wanted it in her kitchen. Carol, you know who this person is, by the way. I won't say the name on the thing, but she has a Marquee and an Easy 2 in her home. And funniest thing is this gal, she had her organ, every time she upgraded, the bench that she used for so long, the condition of the sale was she would not buy the organ unless she keep her bench. But here's why. It wasn't because of the style of the bench or anything. She liked the new bench. It was because that bench had sat there so long in the carpet that if she put a new one in, a new bench, it wouldn't have fit in the same spot. So we had to keep the same bench. And it was so tight. She walked in her house. You go into the organ, and you could literally you had to walk. And then once you were there, you were good. But getting there, and some reason she had an Easy 2 in her kitchen. Who am I to argue with that, right? But last but not least, we have two amazing promotional things happening. Keep an eye out out there. I'm getting ready to launch one of our biggest summer sales before the fall selling season. We have a wonderful variety of A platform. I have to be careful how I say the word A series, because when I do that, Siri thinks I'm saying, "Hey Siri," and I got to, okay, didn't do it. Sometimes I just say A series and it just comes up. Siri thinks I'm talking to her, but so I haven't to change my word to platform. So my computer, but we're getting ready to launch a major promotion on some of the very limited availability of our A platform models. We haven't had a Patriot in a very long time. I have one of those available in stock. I have, between Florida and Arizona, a handful of Lowrey Symphonies, which is one that I've been playing on. And if you have organs like Prestiges, Legends, any of the SU models, we're working some very, very special pricing for those, trading into those. The number two, the big craze, I actually had a Marco Mendez. Many of you know who Marco Mendez is?
Mhm.
He called me the other day and he said, "Listen, I'm doing my class Monday." He does a class, and he says, "Can you send me a list of the people who bought Genos 2s since we've been introducing?" And I sent him the list, and I realized we have over 30 names of people in the last couple months that have bought just from Fletcher Music, not to mention the ones that he was connected to. And it's been such a phenomenal product, so phenomenal that Yamaha can't keep up with the orders. So people are having to wait patiently. I appreciate, but it is an amazing product. It is an amazing product, and as alone as itself. But what Marco has done with that is he's also made it the ability where that and the Lowrey organ can be compatible. So one of the shows he's done, I think in Florida he did this, where he actually hooked it up and he did most of his show playing the Lowrey organ using the sounds from the Genos into the organ.
Seen it.
And I heard, and I didn't get to hear it, but every manager in Florida said, "Oh my God," because that was the first time they got to hear this product. They're like, "Oh my gosh, it was so amazing how he did that." So maybe I'll have him do that when he plays. He's going to be playing some concerts out here. Maybe I'll have him do something on the side for that. So anyway, those are two wonderful
He's almost
opportunities.
done.
What's that? Okay. So with that said, I want to say thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the class. My very short class went longer than usual, and I'll say it's your guys' fault. No, just kidding. It's me. Anyway, so next week I do plan on showing you how to take the Lowrey recording into the CD and the MP. All right? I'll have a manual ready for the EX because it's a slightly little different in the language, and then I'll do it on here as well. So we'll have some fun with that. And then what I encourage always, just get some CDs, get a USB and just experiment. And don't worry about the quality versus being able to do it. So thank you so much. Stay safe. Keep playing music every day. And mwah, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.